Hey, so yeah, hi everybody. So my name is Cody Bahlau, like was mentioned earlier. I work on a research vessel called the RV Marcus G. Langseth, and it's actually out of New York, up in the Palisades. So we're run by Columbia University, which isn't too far away from you guys. You guys are where in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what is it? Seventh grade, eighth grade?
Eighth grade.
Eighth grade. Okay, yeah, good. That was a long time ago for me. So let me just add something that hopefully looks familiar to you guys. This should be your school, and then so this is Google Earth, and what we'll do is we'll sort of zoom out, and I'll show you where the boat is currently. So zoom out a little bit here. Hopefully it looks familiar. We get Brooklyn, we get Manhattan. Keep coming on up a little bit more. New York, of course, the Eastern Seaboard, United States. So right now, the research vessel is all the way over here in the Pacific. So this is Hawaii here. And we zoom in, and that's the Marcus G. Langseth. So that's where we're currently working. I'm not on board right now, so I just worked most of the winter from November to April, and I just got off the boat a couple weeks ago. So that's where we're currently at, and what we're doing is we're taking water samples as we transit east to the Panama Canal. So the Panama Canal is down here in the country of Panama, and we're going to go into port here before we then cross the canal, go into the Caribbean, and then we sail into the Caribbean and all the way back to the east coast of the United States, over in Georgia and South Carolina, and we'll be there for a couple weeks. So what does the boat look like? It's roughly, so it's just less than a football field long. It's 70-ish yards long by 20 yards wide. It has several decks tall. There's 53 people on board right now, and we can stay out for about 55 days before we have to sort of come into port to fuel, get food, etc. So let's watch a drone video of the boat so I can sort of do a little tour here. So here we go. So right now we're coming up on the back of the boat. We have all these different names we use sort of offshore. This is the stern. So as we fly into the stern of the boat, you can see a bunch of cables coming off the back side. So this is some scientific equipment that we have deployed into the water. Now we're coming on to the right-hand side, or the starboard side of the vessel. So you can see sort of right in the middle, there's sort of a square area. That's called the A-frame. And we use that to deploy some of the equipment into the water. What does deploy mean? Deploy means essentially just putting that the scientific equipment overboard into the ocean, whether we tow it behind us or whether it falls to the bottom of the ocean. Now this is the front of the boat, or the bow. So right below that blue line there, you can see sort of the bank of windows. That's where the captain is up with all the bridge officers. So we have 3 bridge officers plus the captain that drive the boat 24 hours a day. Here on the left-hand side, or the port side of the vessel, that big tower, that's where the biologists work, and they monitor different...
Sorry.
Yep. That tower is where the biologists work, and they monitor different activity in the water around us. Because when we're doing our scientific research, we want to make sure that we don't harm any animals. So they're looking for whales and dolphins and turtles, seabirds and things like that. And if they get too close to the boat when we're doing different type of scientific activities, we then stop our operation until that animal is passed. So right now the seas are a little bit calm out there. It's maybe a meter and a half, but some days the seas can be a little bit rough. So this is what it looks like when the seas are rough. Let's just...
All hands, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
So what do you think? Who'd want to work offshore and something like that? Anybody?
So the video didn't play. It was kind of just stuck.
Oh, really? Oh, let's try one more time here. Maybe it's usually the internet's usually quite good. Hold on, let's try one more time.
All hoist the colors high.
Is it playing or not?
Nah, it's just frozen.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, the video shows the seas that can be quite rough offshore. So there's lots of waves. There was different things moving on deck. Anyways, but the seas can be quite bad at times. So let's look at some pictures of the boat. So just like sort of in school there, you're going to have your cafeteria, you're going to have your classrooms. So we have similar type of setup offshore. So we have our cafeteria is called the mess room, and this is what that looks like. So obviously it's a lot smaller than your cafeteria, but this is where the crew is going to come eat. So when the boat works 24 hours a day. There's someone sort of always on watch or always working. And the mess room is open 24 hours a day. There's 3 meals, but then we have an ice cream, or we have a freezer full of ice cream. We have leftovers, a salad bar that people can then go and get some food. We have where sort of the cooks cook the food is called the galley. So this is our small little galley. So it's probably quite similar to your lunchroom or your cafeteria, probably a lot smaller, but you just come and sort of scoop the food as you go. We have, for the people who aren't working, we have a movie room, Netflix, we have Amazon Prime, we have PlayStation, tons of games for people to play and things like that. Where people are sleeping is that, so we have a cabin. So this would be essentially like the bedroom. In this cabin for the scientist, there's going to be 3 scientists staying in this cabin. So as you can imagine, you need to sort of share your space. You can't leave any dirty socks, etc., on the floor, because people are going to be using the same space at all times. We have a gym that's sort of offshore as well. So we have a treadmill and different things like that. The bridge here is where the captain drives the boat. So what do you not see on the bridge that you would expect to see? Anybody?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think
Go ahead, answer. What was that?
Like something like I noticed was like I thought there would be like a bunch of like computers, but I see like small computer. I thought I see like I'm guessing like on boats they have like a monitor where you can like check if there's like any incoming like objects and stuff. I thought I see like one of those.
Yeah, that's actually that's a really good question. So on the bridge, so think like at night when you're driving in your parents' car, you know, and you see all the headlights coming, and you don't want sort of inside the car, you don't want a lot of light, right, coming from the radio or coming from the monitor or coming from the different gauges, because you want to still keep your night vision at night. You want to be able to see good sort of when it's dark. So on the bridge, they do have some computers, they do have some monitors, but at night they try to turn those screens either off, or they have different night settings. They go green or red. So when the officers are up there at night, they can still maintain their night vision. So in the picture I showed you, let me switch back to this. So in the picture I showed you, like right in the center there, you can see 2 computer screens. Either side of that, you're going to have your radar. So that's the different radars. On the right-hand side is called the ECTAS, which is the electronic charts. So there's not a whole lot of computer screens up on the bridge. Now, in the areas where we do our science, that's different. Let me show you that picture. So this is called the main lab. And now down here is where you're going to see all the different computer screens. So that's one picture. Let me see if I can find another. Yeah. We'll go with that one for now. So down in the main lab area, we have over 40 monitors, so the different teams can sort of see all the data coming in. So this is going to be all the different scientific data that we acquire offshore comes into this area. So there's 40 plus monitors down there. Oh, here's another one. Here it is. Yeah. So a lot of them are off right now because this picture was taken during a transit when we weren't sort of acquiring data, but you can sort of get an idea what it looks like. Yeah, good question. So because we're offshore all the time, like I said, so this current cruise is offshore for 55 days. So another thing that you may want to have, of course, is some way to treat somebody when they're not feeling well. Either they get injured or they're sick. So we have a hospital on board the boat. Let me show you that. So this is one picture. So it's a small room. That's a small hospital. The captain is the primary medical provider on board, And if someone isn't feeling well, we can call directly to George Washington Hospital and speak directly to a doctor to help the captain assess any type of injuries or illnesses a person may have. We also have a small library on board that someone can sit and, so it's sort of a quiet space. Yeah. So before I move on to the next subject, does anybody have any questions about sort of the boat and how it works? It's kind of a quick tour, but was there something that you expected to see on board a boat that you didn't? Remember, this is you, let's say, take your class times 3, and you had to live together for 55 days, not go home, not see your pets. What would you like to see on board?
Go ahead.
Shouldn't there be like a steering wheel or something? Because like, how do you steer the boat?
Yeah. So up on the bridge, so that's what I was asking earlier. So up on the bridge here, you don't see a steering wheel, right? So everything, all the modern boats are done essentially just like a PlayStation. There's a small joystick, and the captain and bridge officers drive the boat just with a very small joystick. And they can turn it, so different boats are designed differently. So we have 2 propellers on ours, but we also have a bow thruster as well. So the boat can turn 360 degrees on one axis. So it's quite maneuverable. Yeah.
Any other questions? Go for it. Subcon?
Have your boat sank before?
Has it sank? No.
Sank before.
No, it hasn't. No, there have been some oil and gas research boats that have sank, but no, our boat hasn't. And there's a lot of things that go into that. So one thing would be routine maintenance. Just like your folks are going to take your car to get the oil changed. Maybe they take it to a mechanic shop to get something worked on. So we do something similar. So every couple of years, we have to go into what's called dry dock, where the boat floats into this dock. And then what they do is they drain all the water out of it, and the boat sits dry on these big blocks. And when it does that, we're able to go in and look at the hull or the bottom of the boat. We do what's called NDT, non-destructive testing. So we use an instrument to measure the thickness of the hull or the metal plating on the bottom of the boat to make sure that it's okay. We scrape all the barnacles off. We paint it to make sure that everything is going to be okay. We also do our engine work as well during that time. And then when the scientists come on board, just like when you guys started school this year, you probably had some drills. Would you have like a fire drill and things like that when you started school?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when the scientists come on board, we do something similar. So we have a fire drill as well, but we also have an abandoned ship drill. So if we do have to abandon ship, we have life rafts on board the boat on either side, port and starboard, that we can put into the water, and then we all get into the life raft if we have to abandon ship. And part of that is trying on life jackets. So this is all us up at the muster station. So we all put the life jackets on to try them on. And we also have these suits. They're immersion suits. They're essentially like a neoprene dive suit that you put on, and it keeps us warm if we have to go into cold water. Yeah. What about, let me ask you this. Who's ever been at home when maybe your parents come home from the store, whether by car or whether they walked, and they holler up at you, you're playing your game, you're watching TV, and they want you to help with groceries? Has anybody had to do that? Yeah? It's always probably the best part of the game. It's always the best part of the TV show when they want you to help, I'm sure. So we have something similar. When we go to port, we get our groceries, but they come in essentially a semi-truck. So we have a forklift that unloads the groceries in pallets. And then what we have to do is, I got another picture here. So on the top left-hand corner, you can sort of see the bananas. You see some onions and things like that. And what we have to do is, so everybody gets in a big line. So they use a crane to lift it from the pier or the dock on board the boat. And then there's 20, 30 people all in the line, and we hand each box to a person as it goes to the boat. So it goes on the deck, it goes up the stairs, it goes into the galley or the kitchen, and then from there it then goes into the different fridges and freezers. So it could take 2 or 3 hours to sort of get all the food on board. There's so much food for 50, 55 days offshore. Yeah. Any more questions about the boat?
Yes.
We'll look at some science.
Go for it.
Are you on the boat right now?
No. So I'm not on board right now. I was on board from November to just after Christmas. So, and then I was home for a couple weeks. I then went back in January and I got off in April. So a long time on board. We did some work offshore of Mexico. We did some seismic, which I'll talk about in a second. And then I just did a transit from San Diego to the Marshall Islands. Let me show you where that's at.
Go ahead.
I have a question.
I have another question.
Let me just show you where this transit was. So we started in San Diego, which is in California, and then we followed this yellow line. We went to the Hawaii Islands here, and then we went to the Marshall Islands, which are across the international date line. So when we sailed, we went from Monday night to Wednesday night. So we skipped a day when we crossed that international date line. Go ahead.
Oh, can I ask one question?
Yeah, go for it.
Is all the time on the boat worth your is your salary worth all the time on the boat?
Yeah, so when you're on board, so you work 7 days a week, so, and then I work a 12-hour shift. So just like if you were at school, you would work, you'd be at school for 12 hours, 7 days a week for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks in a row, and then you'd go home. But remember, so it's different sort of on board than there at home or New York, because you want to, after school, you want to go play sports, you want to go hang out with your buddies, you want to go to the movies, whatever. There's lots of other things to do is my point. But on the board of the boat, there's not many other things to do. So you work, maybe you go to the gym, maybe you go to the library, maybe you watch something on Netflix. But other than that, I mean, it's easy because it's a 2-minute walk to go get some food. The laundry is 20 steps away, so everything is quite easy to do. So it's not that difficult to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Another question.
What was like the scariest accident that you like been on, like on the boat?
So yeah. So we try to manage the so safety is a big thing on board the boat or any type of offshore or remote environment. So things are managed very well. So something that you would do at home, you wouldn't do offshore. Maybe sometimes somebody's seen someone stand on a chair to change a light bulb out or something like that. Or, maybe they step up a little bit too high on the ladder. Well, in a remote environment like that, those are some things that are controlled very well that you can't do. Because if something does happen, it's going to be a lot more serious than if something were to happen at home. So probably one of the things, let's do the most scariest. I've been in some pretty rough seas before, some pretty bad weather. We've some of the waves or some of the water has come into some of the compartments, and we had it was in the middle of the night. We had to go down, and it's called dogging down the doors. You have to secure the doors very tight with these levers so the water doesn't come in. And then we spent the next 5-6 hours cleaning up some water. So there's a few things like that. Nothing too, let's call it scary, because things are controlled very well. But there's always a few things that you have to be worried about. Yeah.
Anyone else? Other questions? Yeah, we got a bunch. Go for it.
Is there anything you don't like about the boat?
Is there anything you don't like about being on the boat?
Yeah. So just probably the biggest thing for me is being away from friends and family and pets for so long. If you're gone for 40, 50 days at a time, we have good internet on board. We have Star Shield, so we can do video calls, WhatsApp, Skype, etc. But you're still gone. You're still away from home. So you get to travel to some fun places. We were in the Galapagos Islands last year. We were up in Iceland 2 years ago. So we get to go to some amazing places. But when you're looking on Facebook or when you're looking at your friends' pictures of the backyard barbecue and everybody's having a fun time, sometimes obviously you miss being home as well.
Stephanie?
This question isn't related to the boat, but when you were younger, did you expect to have this job?
When you were younger, did you expect to have this job?
No. So I didn't know this. I didn't know this job even existed when I was younger. So that's one of the things I was going to talk about later, but I can bring the slide up now. So you guys are in 8th grade now. there are a lot of jobs out there, obviously, that you guys may be interested in that you don't even know exist. There are a lot of jobs out there that don't even exist now, but in 5 or 6 years will, for example, with AI or whatever. So that industry isn't even around now, but when you graduate from college or technical school or whatever you do, those opportunities are going to open up. So to answer your question, no, I had no idea that a research boat on an ocean was even a thing. I grew up in Michigan, so not even close to an ocean. And, I would never even think that I would find my way into this career path. But I think the main thing to think about is sort of what you're interested in now. So what do I mean by that? So when I was your age, I liked looking at maps. I liked understanding geology and how the earth works and plate tectonics. I like sort of social studies and things like that. So when I went to junior high, I took more classes than that. When I went to high school, I took more science classes. That's just what I enjoyed. And then when I went to college, I sort of continued down that path. And when I went to college, I thought, well, what can I do so I can sort of work outside? I can work, understanding the planet, whether that's geology or geography. And I was able to sort of find a career path that led me to here. So let's look at the slide I made. So this is something similar. So here it starts at high school, but you guys are essentially there. So on the left-hand side, we see the different sciences. We then see different pathways to sort of go into an off-source research vessel. This is just a research vessel, but there are many other careers that sort of have a similar path. There's not one path to get here. There's the trade schools, the welding, diesel engine repair, electronics technician. There's, of course, the universities for biologists, for geology, engineering, etc. There's the Maritime Academy. So there's the Maritime Academy right in New York. It's just north of where you guys are at now. There's data and tech. So there's coding, there's AI. There's, of course, the military with the Navy, Coast Guard. So I think the main thing here that I just want to show is that there's not just one path in life to be able to go from A to Z, right? There's many different ways to end up, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's working on a boat, etc.
So we got about 2 minutes left.
Okay.
So I don't know, do we want to take more questions, or was there more that you were going to show the students?
I've got lots of different slides. I can take more questions if that's what you guys want to do. Are there more questions? You guys have good questions today. Sometimes it's quite quiet.
Yeah.
What is fun about your job?
What's the fun part?
So I like meeting all the different people who come on board. So every expedition we go on has a whole new group of scientists that come, and they could be from New York City, or they could also be from Australia or someplace in Africa, etc., Europe. So we get all these different people who come on board the boat, all different cultures, and you get to hear about sort of different stories. Especially it's fun around the holidays as well, because you hear the different Christmas traditions and stories that people do.
Go ahead.
What was like the coolest animal you seen? Because I'm guessing since you're like on like boat, you probably see like a bunch of like sea animals.
So it's too bad the videos aren't working. I'll try to play this video. Is it playing or not?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So these are two humpback whales. So you see them come up here in a second. They're both going to come up. Yep. So this picture was taken off of Mexico. These are two humpback whales breaching. And since this video is working, let me try to play this video. That's good. The video is working. Can you guys see this one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this was taken down in the Galapagos Islands. So we get a shark there. So this was me snorkeling next to the shark.
Is that a clownfish?
Is that a picture?
And then we have a sea turtle here. So this is probably 3 or 4 feet from me in the water. A couple tortoises, the iguana.
Is that a big one?
Yeah, wait, what is that?
Yes, that's a blue-footed booby. So there's a couple locals there. Those are lava tubes. Yeah. Yeah. So we see all sorts of different animals when we're offshore. The whales, the sharks, the dolphins we see all the time. So yeah.
Mr. Cody, we want to say thank you for your time. We really enjoyed it. I learned a lot. This is one of the best career day presentations I've seen.
Oh, good.
And really appreciate your time. Are you with us all day? Are you going to another class?
I think it's just this class. Yeah, yeah.
We have to talk. I just want to make sure
Well,
that.
heck, I want to thank you guys very much because I get a lot of classes that don't ask very many questions, and you guys did a fantastic job. Lots of questions, and I really appreciate it because I think it makes everything better for everybody. So, yeah.
Thank
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.